All right. All right. We are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 25. And it's another glorious Sunday at the round table. And speaking of Sunday, you already know that this is the Lord's Day. And of course, we have the usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-host, my brother from another mother, the non-aggro gamer himself, my man, Lord Addict. How are you doing, sir?
What's going on, you guys?
Yeah, all that enthusiasm on a Sunday. I love it. Energized. And of course, our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player experience, semi-offline Xbox profile Illuminati. My man, Lord Sovereign. How are we doing, sir?
Doing fantastic this Sunday, man. Wide awake, got a good amount of sleep, so I'm ready to go.
Nice. Energy levels is up. That's what I'm talking
Yes,
about. And of course, the excess gamer. The Lord who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than the premium experience. Beloved, Lord King, how are we doing, sir?
We doing fantastic. We had another great night in combat sports last night. I know the UFC had something. I have to check that out today. And I'm not saying nothing small. I know it was something that I wanted to watch. So, I have it put there for later. It was just so much stuff that was going on last night, that I was watching. But as far as boxing goes, on ESPN, you have Vasily Lomachenko, one of the brightest stars in the sport. They did 7 to 10 views, 10 million views last night. So it was really good. But I know the reason why I want to see the UFC thing, because they're talking about the Daniel Cormier, and they're talking about this guy's retirement. And I just want to say that retirement for that man is so stupid in the sense that you just didn't beat a better talent. That's all. He wasn't a better fighter than you. He wasn't a better this or better that. It was just a better talent, and the skill set on John Jones is incredible. So I don't like the fact that they're trying to push this guy out of the sport.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. We'll get into it, but I know what you mean. It's like it's when you're facing those once in a generation athletes. Sometimes those guys, if they can't beat that guy, then their whole thing is like, what's the whole purpose of continuing? Kind of.
That's ignorant. But listen, I had a great week. Some stuff to get into. Shout out to Anchorman in trying to finish Zero Horizon Zone. I know your frustration, brother. Kids Move.
Oh,
Kids Move, brother. I gotta tell you, to promote a fight. To promote a match, you have to give and take. You can't just, say your little quips and go hide in the corner. You did your little video. You mentioned my name. You called me out. You said a challenge that you would play me with a WNBA team. Brother, I accepted your challenge, but all I hear is crickets, brother. Don't put nothing out there you ain't willing to back up. Listen, I told you I will beat you. The day to come out, I don't play the game, but Kid Smooth, man, you're letting the little brothers down that believe in you, man. Like, I really thought you was a man of your word, and I'm saying it. It's kind of making me nervous that when you do get beat, you might not pay, brother. Are you that dude? Are you cheek betting? I hope you're not cheek betting, brother. Come on, man.
Shout out to Lord Smooth. These ILP bets are starting to rack up. Hopefully the NBA Live thing will go down.
Thursday. As soon as the demo drop, man, you got 1 hour to pick up that invite to get to that party, or you forfeit, my friend.
All right, I gotta improvise on this bullshit. All right,
stepping in.
No. Okay, I get, the diameters of the bet or not, but would you guys not agree to give a motherfucker to give someone a day?
Language.
Give someone a day.
No, AJ. No, AJ.
If you ain't there the hour of the bet, it's over.
AJ, Lord Addict. I do apologize. But the parameters of the bet was date and date it drops.
Okay,
right?
But when the parameters
NBA Live
when the parameters were met, there was no release date. He can't help if he has actual personal life that he got to do that day.
I understand that you are advocating.
I mean, the way I see it,
I hear that.
The way I see it is, I see a Lord Key David trying to avoid an L. So he just wants to win. He wants to take the cheap W and not take.
Oh, so I see somebody got their pom-poms out for the kid. And
I see someone that doesn't even want to do it. Doesn't even want to do the match because they know they're gonna lose.
Oh my god, this is going so left.
Hold on, Lord Magneto.
Yes.
My thing is,
as somebody who's been in plenty of bets with Lord King over the years, one thing you need to recognize. Be wary of the fine print every single time because you will get caught out there.
Oh my god!
What I'm trying to explain is I don't understand how you feel that I'm not willing. I'm saying I'm willing, ready, and able. As soon as that clock go bing, I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying to mix it up. As soon as the lights hit. But you're telling me that you want somebody to get enough time to put some performance enhancements in their system.
I'm done.
They trying. You think that he's going off to do something else, brother? He's scamming you. He's trying to warm it up and play. Every time
this shit is,
yes,
it's the demo. This dude acting like it's the real game.
No, I'm playing for the real game.
No, I mean,
we're going to move forward.
Regardless how Kid Smooth made the dumb, stupid bet.
We'll go on and on. Shout out to Lord Smooth. We know he'll be at the designated place at the designated time because Lord King will be designating things there. So, but of course,
broadcasting on Mixer.
Of course, it is Lord Cognito here, spreading you that gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So let's get right into as far as what the Lord's been playing this week. So, Lord Addict, what have you been touching this week? Let me guess. Halo Wars 2.
Actually, I played Mr. Shifty, and that's pretty much about all.
Wow, I'm still mad though. You didn't.
Actually, I played.
Been out for a minute.
I played Halo Wars 2 this morning, but I played Mr. Shifty.
Nice. How you liking Mr. Shifty so far?
I beat it.
All right. Was it fun? Is it? How was it?
It was a good. It was a good game.
Cool. No doubt. And of course, Lord Sarv, what have you been touching this week?
So this week I've been playing a little more Far Cry 3. Getting a little further in that, and then I played some Tacoma, some Edith Finch, so that's what I've been getting into, and then looking forward to Hellblade next week.
Nice,
definitely
nice. Hellblade, yeah, that's a big one. And of course, Lord King, what have you been touching this week?
Oh, I've been inside Xbox Arcade, tearing it up. Well, I say not Xbox, the Game Pass. And I've been playing all the Metal Slugs. And I found out that inside of me is this weird passion to play a bunch of Neo Geo stuff. And I didn't know Metal Slugs XX was as great as it is. It's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, man. This week I've been touching. It's been we're actually going to touch about it on our topic later, but I actually got to finish Edith Finch. And we'll talk about that. I know Lord Sarv has a lot to say about that. And then what else? It's been a lot of, I did the Walking Dead. Basically, this month is hashtag kill the backlog. Because we know that Destiny 2 is coming. So I'm just going through all the games in my backlog. And basically, I still got a lot of the Telltale stuff to knock out. But I've done that. I did Edith Finch. And I still was touching a little Titanfall 2. So that was pretty much my week as far as gaming. So before we get into the topics, we got the last week's
before we
go for it, Lord Addict. What's up?
Get into the topic. I know that you're talking about making Lokavatsu a mod. You want me to tell you how to do it real quick?
Sure. I mean, if you can jump him in
you just go to his name in the chat, click the little thing to the right, and it will say promote the mod.
Sounds good. I'll give Kaibatsu the power. But we're gonna do the last week's poll results. They're in. The people have spoken. The winner at 61% strong of the is it unacceptable for a first-person shooter to be 30 frames per second in 2017 beyond is the Fun Game Group. So all is right in the world. People have valued fun games over frames as most important. So the group who actually finished second has demanded that 60 frames be mandatory. They finished at 39%. So it's like almost a 60-40 split. And the people have spoken. I want to thank all 120 plus who participated in the poll. And I just want to bring it to the Lords. What do we think about this?
They spoke.
I'm always for a fun game above, resolution, frame rate. Obviously, those things help, and if they're super tight, it makes the experience that much tighter. But again, if the game is enjoyable and none of those technical things get in the way, then it is what it is. Whatever the developer felt is best for the game, as long as it runs smooth.
Yeah, I was in the gameplay group. I wasn't in that other stuff.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I was concerned. I didn't know the game doesn't feel this way. So that's good to see. That was good to see from
even though I said I won't play Tekken 7 and 720, even though I said that, and that's only because I don't want to keep buying all these games until my Xbox X come out. So
I feel it.
Yeah, that's when I want to play it.
No doubt. You got to get that tremendous X experience. So let's get into these topics for the round table. So let's start off with Lord King. I know there's a lot of rumors in these streets about this PS5. So I'm going to hand this off to you. What's been going on with the PS5? What's this talk?
Okay, so the broke this week that the PS5 they're trying to push this thing for an announcement in 2018, probably a release in 2019. I thought that the further along it'd probably be like 2020 as far as what they're trying to say for this system. And it seems like Sony is drunk off of power, and I think this is a bad president. I thought they would look at Nintendo and see how Nintendo has done a lot of their stuff underpowered. Sony wants to control the narrative as they're the strongest machine because you notice with the Pro, they wanted to push that further out there to extend their reach, even though the regular PlayStation was stronger than the regular Xbox. But I'm pretty sure that they got their little insiders and they heard about the new Xbox that was coming and the Xbox S that was doing 4K streaming and 4K video. And they said, okay, well, we'll push the power aspect of it, and that's how we got the Pro. Well, now the X is coming out, and, for however time that lasts, the Xbox will be the most powerful console on the market, and then PlayStation 5 will come. But as owners of a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I have not really seen the benefit from it, my thing is, what is the rush to push this 5 out the door, and you haven't even maximized your Pro?
Interesting.
And they're talking about 8K. I just got 4K. Isn't it supposed to be like 6K? Nexus, Jace Brothers just said 8K will be where we pushing it. And come on, man. Like, how many Ks do we need here?
Anyone wants to jump in on this one? Okay, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think. No, go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
Sony's stupid enough to do it. That's all I have to
say. Lord Sava, you want to elaborate more, Lord Attic?
I think they're just letting. I mean, Sean Layden made it clear that you're not going to see a PlayStation 5 for some time. So, I mean, I'm looking at maybe an announcement in 2018. Earliest is fall 2019. Earliest, and I really mean that earliest. Honestly, I see it sometime 2020 if they really want to make a generational leap. Use Ryzen chips. But again, they are content to let the fanboys go to war for them and start talking this stuff because it just by the PS5 being in the conversation. You're taking heat away from the X. You're taking people looking at the X. You're just taking the conversation away from me. As long as people are talking about something different, something better, it keeps away from what's coming out now. So, and they're more than happy to let that happen, even if it doesn't come out of their own mouth.
I think if anything, I don't think there's another console coming out till maybe 22, maybe even 23, because I feel like a lot of people are underestimating. This is what the Pro. I think that they would drop the original Xbox One and the original PlayStation before they brought something out in 2 more years.
Now, what do you say to this, Lord Attic, and also Lord Saul, to the people who? I mean, obviously, I do agree with you guys. I mean, they are in a dominant position. There's really no rush for them to jump out. But at the same time, when we did say that, these were the same guys that did put out the PS4 Pro. When a lot of people thought there was no need for that.
I think we might see a slimmer Pro. I think the fact that they had to add another taco layer on the PS4.
Or the triple cheeseburger.
Yeah, they had to add another layer on the PS4 to make the Pro, and the X is smaller than the Slim. Right. I think that might really irritate them a little bit.
Yes, I mean, this is a good one, Lord King. I mean, because not only do we got that going on, then they spoke to, I believe, the Gran Turismo developer.
Yes.
And the vibe I got from him was they were talking like they're gonna future-proof their titles to the point, well, at least the Gran Turismo series, so that they're talking 8K on this title. So I'm like, okay, now are they thinking mid-generation refresh? Are they thinking, obviously we've heard different rules of thought. I think Michael Pachter, he put something out there in the reference that he's thinking kind of like another mid-generation refresh, not a full-blown generation leap. But then they've already done that with the PS4 Pro. So what do the Lords think about that as far as this 8K stuff?
That's what I thought. I thought that being that we were doing this mid-generation refresh stuff, that would be the pattern that they'll be doing. So you say like, I think Xbox in 2019 will be talking about their next system, and the PlayStation would be dropping their next system by 2019. So you get a drop and then you get an announcement type of thing. That's what I think that they was going to be doing, like leapfrogging each other back and forth.
Now, shout out to Lord Fastback and Lord Engo in the chat. They're basically saying that PS4 sales are peak. They're thinking it's coming 2020 at the latest. So what do we think? People are saying maybe not 5 years down the road. If we had to gun in your head for the Lords of the Round Table, if we had to put a year that we think this thing is coming, what year do we?
I think if anything, the earliest is 21. I think
2021.
We'll see an announcement 2020, and maybe it come out in 21, or like I just don't see 18, 19, 20. Those 3 years, like something might get announced, but I don't see them actually coming out those 3 years. Because then, what was the point in the mid-fresh? Why didn't you just,
right?
They keep pushing the 4K narrative. It's just like, there's no point in going above this right now. People then saying 8K, 4K is not even a thing right now. It's so 8K. Oh yeah. Let's go with 8K.
Shout out to Love Megatron in the chat. He's saying 2020 as well, and Anchorman 2019. Lord Saucy, you want to jump in, and I want to throw something in as well too.
So quickly on that, I think it will be earlier, something like a 2019, 2020, and I say this for this reason. And I say it for this reason. They're not gonna let Xbox hold that most powerful console narrative too long. They don't want to do that. So if you let Xbox hold that narrative for the next 3 years, and your
I got a counterplay for you too.
I think they've already. I
don't think they want to do that.
I think they've already reversed that train. Like, they used to be about the power, but now they promote we got the best games. Like, I think they've reversed that train. So I don't even think they care about the power narrative anymore, because Xbox ain't giving up the games to compete with the power.
So let's say next year at E3, Xbox drops a megaton bomb of exclusive stuff for PC and Xbox. Then what happens?
Then they're going to say we have true exclusives like they did last year at E3, this year at E3.
I don't know, because you remember with all these years, let's say they let Xbox have the narrative for 3 years. In those subsequent 3 years, the price of the X keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. So you're looking at a more powerful console that by the end of that 3 year period could probably be $250, $300. It's a tough sell at that point to keep saying, well, but we have all these games.
We're the Pro and the X are going to be a tough sell regardless.
But I mean, you don't.
Now they are.
Now they are, because obviously we're in the early stages of the 4K adoption rate, that kind of thing. But I guess the question I have for you, Saul, specifically to your point, was that like, what do you say to let's take a look at it from the Sony side, where it's like, Microsoft came out the gate. They've been pumping the Scorpio narrative for about a year, right? It's finally here. And now, obviously, it is the more powerful system. We can't dispute that. But at the same time, there's also things like, okay, they're doing checkerboarding too, or they're doing 30 frames per second too. So you don't think that maybe Sony may have the standpoint where we can kind of wait it out because, they're not as dominant as we would thought they were, kind of thing? Maybe they were waiting to see how much more powerful it was, and maybe they thinking to themselves, maybe they can kind of stand pat. You think that may be an mentality?
I think that can be an option, and I think we'll see that over the course of the next year, and we'll see how these games compare to each other. I know we're talking a little bit about Killing Floor 2, and how that would not be all that different, at least perceptibly different on the X as it is on the PS4 Pro.
Right.
So, already people talking about how the X is hamstrung, that it's not going to be able to do all these things that its claim is able to do. So it's going to depend how that plays out over the next year, and how many of these games that are on both systems, these third-party games, what the X can do, that if it's significantly different than what the Pro is doing. If it's not, then they might be able to hold pat.
I think when it comes down to it, like, Sony's came out multiple times and said, like, we saw it last gen. I mean, it's irrelevant to have more power when the third-party devs downport than upport. They don't upport than downport. And they have made it easier. That's what their trump card was, is we're going to make it easy to port to the Xbox One X. But when it comes down to it, like, regardless what some people like to think, having the bigger market share matters. These third-party people don't want to mess with the bigger market share.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to that perspective, the third parties are going to, they're not going to come openly out and say it. But I wouldn't be surprised that there's some, backdoor, dealing going on saying, you can't have the better. But obviously you got like Shadow of War, games that are really hooking up with the Xbox. Those are going to see benefits.
Right.
But the part that really, you'll see a huge significant increase is first party. It wouldn't matter what the third parties are doing. If Microsoft was dropping hit after hit that looked phenomenal, that showed this is what the power of the X does, but they're showing Crackdown on the opening day. So, like, Microsoft's one of those people
Someone's not impressed.
Microsoft's one of those people that they want to keep their cards close to chest. They could show something at Gamescom that's not Crackdown, that blows people away, and they could show something next year at E3 that blows people away. But the community is not that, perception of look in the future kind of mindset. Gamers are very impatient. You show them what's coming up now, or you don't show them at all. I mean,
that lends to this generation. Attention span is so short opposed to our generation.
That's the approach that Sony takes. Like, look, we'll tell you all of our cards, and we'll let the competition know all of our cards, because we're pretty sure they have nothing for them right now.
Well, that's been Sony tack forever. They'll tell you their cards, but their games don't come out for the next 20 years.
Well, I mean, I completely agree, but I kind of think that, one of the biggest reasons they want to do it is because of the whole fiasco with Fable Legends and Scalebound. But when you come to a point where
being gun shy,
solely rely on indies to sell an E3, that maybe you should announce 1 to 2 games that's 2 to 3 years off.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because I see where you're coming a lot at it in reference to Phil maybe being gun shy after the Scalebound fiasco, things of that nature, and not wanting it. Because I mean, the vibe I had from him is that there's still more to be shown, that they still even held back from this E3, and even with all the exclusives that they did have. But I'm gonna give it up to Lord King as your topic. I want you to ice this thing off as far as.
Well, I mean, we already ran the gamut on this. I feel that the guy for the developer for Gran Turismo, the reason why he said 8K, because by the time his game comes out, 8K is the thing.
By the time The Last of Us 2 comes out, we'll be at 12K by the look of it.
I know, right?
Game comes out, I'm done.
Because all we getting right now is like some little bus off Gran Turismo, but that's not the real one. So these guys, they're hyping their stuff. They've been hyping these games, those Gran Turismo games, for so long, and Forza has been keeping a steady stream of giving you that good butter. So I'm not, really worried, really listening to whatever he's saying, because this guy is really saying, he just told you the release date for that Gran Turismo. He told you when 8K is viable, that's when it's coming out.
Well, a couple of days ago, they said that Sony kind of made a statement that's saying The Last of Us 2 isn't even full production yet, so that's not coming out till at least 20.
Exactly. So like I said, we kind of wrap this whole thing up. I honestly think, and this is just my thought, though, by the time the PlayStation 5 actually comes out, I say 2020. I really believe 2020.
So you're going 2020, okay.
Right. I believe we probably might have an Xbox X Plus.
Oh jeez.
and this is the
we got
plus.
confirmation that it's already in development. I mean, according to Jess Gordon and those guys, shout out to Rand and those dudes at Xbox too.
Of course, it's in development. I mean, the moment the
code name and everything.
Yeah, but my plus to it
come out 5 years from now, though.
Yeah,
absolutely correct.
My plus to it though, it's just an easy fix. Just swap out the Jaguar and put in a Ryzen and do a scalability factor to it. That's my guess, because if everything that I've been hearing and every developer has been saying, you got some that total company line, but anybody that's come out and said anything against the Xbox X before it even hit the streets is hamstrung by the CPU.
Yeah,
and I've been seeing a lot of Ryzen chipsets, and right now they're doing like the Hyper Thrasher edition, something like that. And I just saw on Digital Foundry. If they're doing that and they're pushing that extreme CPU, then that means the price on the value price CPU is dropping, and that's more powerful than the Jaguar. That would alleviate a lot of the hamstrings on the X. So I honestly think that's a quick fix and a mid refresh, like so they like to do, like if you're updating your phone, and they update the chipset inside.
So pretty much is what you're saying. Okay, if you think this thing is kind of going the way of phones, where we're gonna get these mid-gen refreshes kind of from both sides, is what you're saying. You don't see it pretty much going the route of a full console.
I think every 4 years we're going to get a refresh of the console before.
So you agree with Lord Pack there?
I know it barely happens, but I have to agree on this one.
I think if we get an adoption rate that is high enough that they can start a subscription type of thing like you have with your phones, where you pay your phones off on a monthly basis, and they do that with consoles, that our refresh rate on systems will be a whole lot faster. It will be within a 2-year time period, I believe, and they will update the innards inside of the consoles a whole lot faster if we can get to 100 million type of a subscription rate thing that they can offset and subsidize the cost. And I don't know why we haven't drifted closer to that. I think these are the first steps going towards that. But I think that's in our near future, and it'll be more beneficial for us.
I always thought that Microsoft was going to make some kind of deal with Comcast or something and convert at the original Xbox Ones into digital converters and sell them to Comcast, and Comcast can rent them to their customers.
You talking about during like the TV phase when they were they came out the box with that?
Yeah, that would have been huge if they would have done that. That would have been huge right now.
Oh my lord, man, they are going so in on when this damn game will even drop. Yes, the chat is savage.
GT Gran Turismo could come out tomorrow and I wouldn't care.
They are killing Polyphony Digital, but we're gonna wrap this topic up. But let's solve. You sound like you good? Are you good?
Real quick on the subsidizing thing, because Xbox kind of did do that towards the end of the 360 generation with the final revision of the 360, the E. I believe you bought it with, like, I think you paid for 2 years of Xbox Live service or whatever. You got the console for free. So they did kind of dip their toe in that a little bit to see how it would react. I don't think doing it at the end of the generation was probably the best thing, because at that time, should have been
at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly, because it sort of plateaued in terms of sales, so you're not really getting a clear picture of how interested people are in it. Right. But I think, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. Focus on your services.
I think the biggest thing Microsoft needs to work on right now is making sure these third-party JRPGs come to the Xbox, because that's what's killing.
Well, we're gonna get into that. It's coming up. It's coming up next. But real quick, so it also made me thought. And let's be honest. Hardware sales are down. For the most part, at least we're speaking on the Microsoft side. And one thing is, game services like Game Pass. Things that they're trying to promote. this may be that wave, you know, when we got to see when the Xbox One X drop, do they like say, hey, here's 3 months of Game Pass, and start really focusing on that as kind of like a mission statement is where they want to go as far as the hardware. Not that, you know, it's almost secondary, but you're carrying the subscription with you throughout all platforms kind of thing, you know? So we shall see. So anyway, if that's what the Lord's got, we're going to move on. And Lord, that actually had me excited about my next topic. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to set this thing off for the round table as far as Dragon's Quest and the tremendous success in Japan on the 3DS and the PS4. And just over like these couple of 2 or 3 days, in 2 or 3 days, both of them, as far as the PS4 and Nintendo 3DS versions of Dragon Quest XI, sold a combined over 2 million copies at retail. So to put it in perspective, you know, the Switch with the Wii U and the Switch versions of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sold 230,000 copies during the first 3 days out. And then Splatoon, which is actually really huge in Japan, they estimate about 670 in its first 3 days out. So to see that surpass all these games, include even, I think, Pokemon Sun and Moon, which I believe in their first 3 days sold over close to 2 million, but a little under. So I wanted to bring this to the round table. You know, we know a Switch version is on the way for the rest of 2018, but I wanted to talk about the success of this game and also the resurgence of JRPGs. What do the Lords think about it? Do we think it's a Japan thing? Lord Attic, I know you want to talk about it, so go for it.
When it comes to it, you put someone in a room and stall them for a few months. You know, when you do give them food, they're going to get it. So
they've been JRPG stalled.
It's not even JRPG styled. It's the whole Switch in general. You starve someone long enough, they're going to buy it when you give it to them.
Shout out to Lord Enko in the chat. He says over 3 million. You are correct, Lord Enko. I was giving you a little bit older numbers in the first 3 days, but you are correct.
Yeah.
But
the thing with that is, you know, they've been releasing minor JRPGs out there. They haven't been giving it to us. Like, we haven't received this yet. So those numbers I think would be greater if they did a worldwide release, but that's, you know, that localization and all that other stuff. I understand that. But Final Fantasy is the only thing that can rival a Dragon's Quest, and that franchise is so loved and beloved. So those numbers really don't shock me at all, because the systems is out there. They can sell those systems. So it was just all about filling a void for those gamers. And like Lord Attic said, you feed them, they will show up and they will eat. And this is testament to a good game.
Let me ask you this, Lord King Attic. I guess I'm just so surprised because, you know, obviously it's Japan, you know, the market's different. I know first of all, I've never played a Dragon's Quest game, so let's get that right out. Right. I just saw the game. The art style looks beautiful. It seems like a turn-based original style JRPG that I've grown up on. Right. So I'm absolutely loving that whole thing. So I'm like, all right, let me see what the hype is. But I guess I was surprised that it just destroyed Zelda, and you know what I'm saying? It's
I mean, you gotta look at the install base now. People actually, I mean, if you added up all of Zelda, how much have they sold since launch?
True, but also here's the thing though: Splatoon is bigger than Zelda, right? In Japan, Splatoon is way bigger, and the fact that Splatoon just came out like a few weeks before.
Well, I get that, but the install base is 4 times
Zelda.
Yes, Splatoon 2 is.
I would say
in Japan. Splatoon 2 is bigger than Zelda.
I wouldn't even say Japan. I would say the install base is 4 times the size it was when Zelda came out.
I would say that. I would if I'm saying if all things are leveled and you drop Splatoon at the same time you drop Zelda.
I hear what you're saying as far as that, but we can't dispute the fact that Splatoon 2 and Dragon's Quest kind of came out kind of similar.
Okay. So you're saying
Dragon's Quest got a name. It can compete with Zelda, but not Splatoon.
Yeah, that's
right. So I just say because of, and let's be honest, Splatoon 2 is the multiplayer game. That's the game that you play with your friends, whereas the Dragon Quest is more of a single player experience. And for it to smash Splatoon like that was crazy to me.
People's been looking for that game. I'm looking for that game. I've been buying these little Dragon Quest things that they got that you play, like those what is those games that we play, Lord Sovereign, Dynasty Warriors.
Oh yeah.
They've been dropping those, and I've been eating them up. I brought it from my PlayStation Pro. I was getting it for the Switch until I saw all the problems that it was having. So yeah, I want the real game, and it'll sell like that when it gets here. You're gonna be surprised with the numbers in the States for that game.
Interesting.
Dragon's Quest will probably do 1 million in the States easy.
Yep.
What's off? I want you to get in on this.
Yeah, when it comes to Japan, I mean, Dragon Quest and Pokemon are king. That's just it, and that's king over Mario. That's king over Zelda.
I'm learning.
and the funny thing is, like, when you talk about Splatoon, yes, Splatoon, you definitely have more. You have more Switches in the wild now than when Zelda came out. So obviously, but we can't also underestimate the popularity of that game, period, in Japan. Splatoon is a movement in Japan. I mean, it really is something special over there.
They definitely won't do that kind of numbers in the States.
Yeah. Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But
they gotta look like Japan embraces its country brand. Like there's a lot of Goku stands down there. Like the entire Japan, especially Tokyo, is filled with its brand that was made there. You can't go anywhere without seeing Naruto in Japan.
It's true.
It's true. I mean, it just, like I said, I guess, like you said, Lord Saab, it really surprised me because I didn't realize the power of that game. I mean, that game over there is just monstrous. It's a beast. And like I said, I was completely blown away. So I guess the next question is, to the Lord, in reference to this, do we think there's a slight resurgence in JRPGs? Obviously, we know Persona 5 came out here, did pretty well for PlayStation, I'm assuming. And then, we have a couple other big JRPGs being announced and coming on the way. Obviously, we did hear that I believe the developer for Dragon's Quest, this guy, Hori, he said it's coming to the West, and they have a big announcement in fall of 2017 about when it comes to the West. And the big rumor is it's coming to the Switch. So, what do we feel about JRPGs? Or do we feel they're making a comeback? Can they succeed out here in the West now?
I can give you a thing, right? And this is the problem. I love Blue Dragon for Xbox. I love the Mistwalker games for Xbox. And the thing is, with JRPGs, you have to build them. Dragon Quest I didn't start off selling off millions and millions of copies like that. You have to build them. You have to hold on to that franchise, and you have to walk it through the shadows and get it to the sunlight. And if you give up on these titles early, you lose. So, of course, Dragon Quest and Final Fantasies, these names that we know, we didn't know them before. They made
trash Final Fantasies for like 8 years and still kept making them.
And they kept going. They kept pushing.
Oh, there's kids moving in the comment section.
Chat. Yeah, he said JRPGs don't survive in the West. Shout out to Lord Anchor. He said the only JRP that matters is Fallout. I'm done. I'm sorry, Lord. Continue.
Maybe that's what's going on, Anchor, man. Maybe you play different Fallouts. Oh, I get it now. I get
it. We need to fight for our RPGs that we have. Microsoft has a catalog. Other RPGs have come out.
Microsoft, it's arguable that Microsoft's got some of the best JRPGs that's came out in the past 10 years.
Exactly. But if they don't push them, if they don't say, yo, we're willing to take this loss, we're willing to go forward and make these games, because these games are coming out, but the only names that you're going to hear is Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy.
And it was a big move for Microsoft to score those marketing rights for Final Fantasy 15, but you got to go more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to invest inside and it'll grow. So it's always a market for JRPGs. Sorry, Lord Addict. There's always a market.
That's one of the reasons that Microsoft is getting stomped this year, is because, if you look at it from a perspective of first-party titles, Sony's dropped Horizon Zero Dawn. That's all. But if you look at it from the Japanese games, I was about to get to that. If you look at from the exclusive stuff that they've gotten from second parties, that could easily have came to Microsoft's platform. Right. Everything else is legitimately could go either way. There's rumors right now that at Tokyo Game Show, Microsoft's going to announce Nier Automata coming to Xbox.
Now let me ask you this question, Lord, because you're making an interesting point. And this is why I wanted to go at with JRPGs, and this also goes in conjunction with something Lord King said a couple of topics back. Is it one of those things that, obviously we know Xbox does not have a great relationship over in Japan. We clearly know this is an issue, and obviously there's a huge fan base that wants the JRPGs. So do we still, as Lord King would say, keep going over there, trekking over there with Japan? Maybe not getting the results we want, but for still hoping to get these titles, or does Microsoft just, pitch their tent and just say, hey, they're never going to release these titles for us. They're never, they're never going to really conform to us. So why bother? Like, what do you say to that?
All I'm saying is it's like the whole Xbox Play Anything where, they might not sell the greatest on Xbox, but it's perception. You have Microsoft having 4 less exclusives this year because they don't have Nier, they don't have Nier, they don't have Noah, they don't have Persona 5. And when you see some of these games going to Switch, it's Microsoft. It's not the other equations. It's Microsoft. How is I Am Setsuna not on Xbox? How is the sequel not on Xbox? How is anything, anything Dragon Quest related not on Xbox? And don't say it's Square Enix, because we've had exclusive stuff from Square Enix. It is Microsoft.
Tell them.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Tokyo Game shows up, and shout out to Lord Fastback. Xbox money can build those relationships.
I'm gonna give you the strategy on how to counter that right after Lord Sovereign and Lord Cognito and Lord Addict talk.
It's like I said, look, I've said this from the start. I said, you can't go too big unless they went out and wrote blank checks to get big stuff. Exclusive.
Shout out to Lord Peter Moore, my man. That is the truck up. That's what he used to do back in the 360 era.
There's 2 approaches you could make with it. One, you go out and get a really, really big one that's going to cost you a lot of money, but something, or you introduce littler titles to the friend, and that's what they're doing. They're introducing littler titles to build that fan base up, so they can actually do that. But I don't think that's enough. You need to go to Mistwalker. You need to make another Lost Odyssey, because that's the only brand that Microsoft has in JRPGs that could actually make them money. But they got to reach out and they got to pay it. They just have to.
Lord Soft, get on this. I know you want to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the resurgence of this and the interest in this is kind of twofold. First thing is the fact that Japanese games in general are seeing a resurgence over here and are more kind of in the public eye. When you talk about the return of Resident Evil and how successful that has been, with Neo, and with Nier Automata, even though these games aren't on Xbox, they've proven that the U.S. audience wants these Japanese games.
And so Nier Automata looks lit. I'm sorry. Nier
Automata is crazy. It is fantastic. It is a fantastic
but us
game.
As an Xbox gamer, we ain't going to get that right now. It's ridiculous.
It's the perception. It's the perception that the Xbox gamer doesn't want that type of game. And that is something that Microsoft have to work towards changing that. And by doing this, like you said, they're gonna have to back up the truck and bring a big one over. It's gonna cost them money, but at least with that, they show that they're dedicated to that.
Let me jump in quick too, because I also felt that the Dragon Ball Z thing was a good look in that regard.
That was fantastic.
Because
that's the only time I think in Microsoft history that
I've never seen Microsoft do that. And I said, you know what? That's the kind of stuff they gotta have to do.
See, but you can't just get the marketing deal. Like if that would have came out there and that was an exclusive, that would have been big.
That would never happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, at the end of the day, I probably agree with you, Lord King. It'd probably really tough for them to get it completely exclusive. I don't know what they'd have to do to get that.
Oh, but they have to pay
Microsoft
absurd amounts of
sacrifice.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge.
I remember I was listening to an interview with Ed Freeze talking about this stuff, about what they had to do when they went to Japan initially. and when they initially went to talk about the OG Xbox and how honestly, like they were taking these execs out to dinner, spending a fortune on wooing these guys, and
whatever was this song, whatever. Who's in charge?
This is OG Xbox.
Oh, this OG. Okay.
Seamus Blackley, like all of these guys, OG. And the thing about it is that they needed to do that to get those initial Japanese games, period, onto the Xbox, like the Otogis and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You know, I know a lot of people don't really have this like in consideration, but Microsoft's an American brand, and let's be real here. The majority of the world does not like America, especially Japan.
Well, you know, obviously there's going to be some
nationalism,
especially Japan, because we pretty much
in Japan's defense. Let me flip it though, Lodatic. In Japan's defense, we do tend to come over there with these big bulky boxes to try to force on them. Like they like.
Oh yeah, I agree. But at the same time, I think the reason that American brand doesn't sell, I think it's more than just games. I think it's politics. I think it's a lot more than that. It's the relationship we've had with them in the past. We don't even let them the right to bear arms, like not bear arms, but assemble an army. We literally took that right from them. That's why our Air Force is over there. We literally took the right for them to assemble army.
We won't go too left with politics.
Well, you get what I'm saying. But you get what I'm saying. I think it's more than just games. That the reason Microsoft.
I understand. I know you're making a valid point in that sense. It could be definitely something.
But I'm gonna give you the strategy around that. All right. So Mikey Barra and the T. I know Mikey Barra. Me, you go talk next week. Anyway, Phil I trust. I'm gonna give you the way that you get this Japanese RPG thing cracking, and it's gonna be stateside. You go over there and you go to their schools and you poach. You poach these developers that are in these schools and then making the games just right. You cultivate them. You snatch them up. You bring them over here. You get your development houses over there in Silicon Valley. You bring them over there, and then also you go to these game communities and you get them. Instead of just saying, "Okay, here's these indie kits and y'all do this." No. You actually make them employees. You actually cultivate these guys. You don't put that stuff in a preview program that everybody get a chance to touch it up early. You don't do that stuff. You cultivate these guys, and when these games come to fruition, you put them in Game Pass. This pushes your Game Pass and it makes sure these developers get paid. But you make sure that their games are RPGs. You stack that Game Pass up with RPGs, and I'm telling you, it's going to sell. Right now, you have a lot of quick action arcade games in there, and people are looking at it and say, well, there's not too much stuff in there for me. You got to start filling in those fillers. You fill them in with your developers, because our development houses are really empty. I mean, can you really say how many other developers there is besides the Forza team and the Gears of War team and the Halo team?
You just named all the teams.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, the first house, the cupboard is bare. The cupboard is bare. That's just fact. I mean, and the fact of the matter is, they're in the business of making money, and that's how we get into the the whole thing that I hate, which is the Big Mac large fries syndrome.
Like,
so I get it.
I don't want to say make JRPGs. Microsoft should not make JRPGs. You cannot expect an American company to make a JRPG, but I do expect the third-party ones to show up on the console.
What I'm saying is, you could have an American company make it if you get the culture.
Right. You go basically what Lord King is saying is you want to start poaching some talent over there and get them, in these studios.
I don't think
that's part of these studios.
I don't think that's an option they can take. For the most part, Japan's really loyal to Japan,
and traditional and very traditional, like Lord Fastback said in the chat. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. The other option, I know we're going left with this. I'm going to wrap it up soon. The other option too, which I see what they're doing. If you look at Greenberg, if you look at what's going on, you see them really trying to make that push in China. So also, that could be another route as far as saying, hey, we may take the L in Japan, but at least get our feet over here as far as another territory, as far as another region that they can do stuff. Yeah, they're out there pretty hard. So that's another thing. But I know we're going left.
Yeah. It was a great topic.
Good topic for JRPGs and DragonQuest.
All I want to say is, they're gonna have to, if they don't want to build and they are doing it. That, you know, there's a few good games that they showed at E3 that's Japanese oriented.
Yeah,
that's for show is coming out
that
to
Code
Xbox.
Vein, looking serious.
If they don't want to do something like that, you know, continue this thing, they're gonna have to buy an exclusive that's gonna cost a lot of money. I mean, look, what would have happened if Final Fantasy 15 would have been an exclusive? Sure, it would have cost them a lot of money, but you would have had a huge surge of people that have been waiting for that game for 15 years that would have bought an Xbox for that one game.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there would have been pushback, man. Like,
I don't think
there would have been a petition. There would have been a petition.
It sold like 7-8 million on the PlayStation. You mean to tell me them 7-8 million people gonna wait over there for it?
I'm just saying, I don't think it would ever happen. Period. But
this was
I'm just saying,
besides 7, this Final Fantasy was arguably the most hyped Final Fantasy ever made.
Right. Absolutely.
People would have bought an Xbox
because of that reason. Because of that reason, they would have seen it as such a betrayal on Square Enix's part. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. You would have had more. You would have had more numbers, just not numbers like that.
Gotcha.
Not even close.
But let's wrap this thing up because I know we go on and on about JRPGs.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. And we're gonna get this thing going over to Lord Saw. We want to talk about Edith Finch and walking simulators. What's going on in this world right now, Lord Saw?
Yeah, so Edith, we're talking about 2 walking simulators in particular, and anybody who sees the name walking simulator as a pejorative, that's not it. I love walking simulators, so I just like using that name.
I don't.
This is for the old men in the group. The people, I know you're too young. It's not for you.
I mean, call me young all you want, man. As long as I don't play walking simulators, I'm fine.
You play a lot of them, but we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Telltale's the only exception I have. I know you,
which is the king of walking simulators. We continue,
and we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into that too. So basically, What Remains of Edith Finch is a game that came out earlier on PlayStation and PC, and over the last couple of weeks has made its way over to Xbox. And also this past week, Fulbright released their follow-up to Gone Home, Tacoma. So what I wanted to talk about was these type of games, walking simulator type games, where it's like a narrative, story-driven sort of first-person games. And do we like them? Do we dislike them? What about them do we like? And also in now seeing these big announcements that Telltale has made with their games and what's coming out over the course of the next year, especially with Batman coming out next year.
It's kind of weird how Telltale's doing that. They don't normally do that.
Yeah, they had like their own Nintendo Direct when it came to like they just dropping bombs.
Well, they don't
for the
normally
next year.
announce games so far out. Like, they usually announce the first episode 3 or 4 months before it comes out.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about is how do these 2 type of games compare, a Telltale game and what is traditionally called a walking simulator, and what do we like about each one and don't like about each one, because there's plenty to kind of dissect there, because they approach the genre very differently.
Definitely. I want to jump in on this. When I saw your topic and you brought it to the table beforehand, I was very excited because I actually touched Edith Finch this week. And shout out to Basement Radio Arcade, shout out to Randall Thor and those guys. I mean, and actually shout out to Lord Anchorman, because I was looking at Twitter and I'm seeing everyone going crazy about this damn Edith Finch. And I'm like, what is the deal with this? Like, I gotta see what it is. So I picked it up this week, added it to the backlog, and I started it. And again, I'm gonna give you the non-spoiler because I believe Lord King and all that haven't touched it yet.
Nope.
But basically, it does fall in that realm of walking simulator. However, it's kind of like short story experiences. And the best thing I can tell you is this thing is disturbing. Like, this thing mentally messes with you. And some people have even said, like, emotionally at the end of some of these stories and things that you find out, that it has an effect on you. All I will say is something that you need to experience. It's really done beautifully. The stories, some of them are so uniquely crafted and done in a way that they put you in the mind of someone else. And I just thought it was cool. Now I'm hearing people screaming out Game of the Year. I ain't going there, but it's such a unique title, and it's so different in the traditional way that a walking sim, quote unquote, will be done, that is worth a pickup. It's worth that 20 or whatever it is right now on Xbox Live. I believe it just came out there. So check it out. You know, as far as the overall question, what Lord Saw is saying, I'm a huge fan of them. You know, I'm an OG, so I grew up in the days when you went to the library, you picked up a book called Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, I love that.
And Choose Your Own Adventure, you know, if you disagreed with this or you agreed with choice B, you turned to page 55. If you didn't, you turned to page 34. Like, that's the stuff I grew up on. So anything that involves heavy narrative, that involves tough choices, and what I love about the Telltale stuff is that there's that time limit where it's like you've got to make it now. You know, I just did I finished Walking Dead New Frontier this week. There was about 4 choices that really I wrestled with, that really messed me up mentally. Then just the way that was done through flashbacks and stuff like that. So again, I love the genre. To people who like Lord Anchorman who don't like it, you know, yes, I will say that Telltale sometimes I think is cashing in a little extra with certain things. They do it a lot of them. But in their defense, for the most part, the majority are really done well. And, you know, I really like stuff like that. Life is Strange is another one, you know, a good spin on it, really emotional, deep, personal life issues and stuff like that. I would recommend you guys take a look at that. So I'm a fan of this. I hope it doesn't go away. I know it's being monetized a bit heavy right now, but games like Edith Finch, to me, show why I love the genre so much.
I think when you look at Edith Finch and when you look at Tacoma, that is a certain type of quote unquote walking simulator, whereas the Telltale games are very different. Honestly,
that's what I was saying. Like the Telltale games is story narrative, you know, like
it's like a book, like you're going through comic panels almost, like, and you're just kind of living out the story that they want you to see. And they're giving you a little bit of agency in, you know, in terms of like the QTEs and stuff like that and decisions you make. But at the end, you ultimately reach the same conclusion. Now, when you look at Tacoma and when you look at Edith Finch, you do reach ultimately the same conclusion, but they give you more agency within the world to walk around and touch things and experience things kind of out of order sometimes, whereas your experience is your own. And it's not as directed as a Telltale experience. And that's what I love about these type of games, because they throw you in there. They're always in first person, right? So you kind of take on the agency of whatever of that character. You're not yourself in there. You're not watching a third person character, and you're walking around the world and you're able to touch this and look at this, or look at a room. They do an excellent job of creating time and place in these stories where you feel kind of engrossed in it. Whereas a Telltale game, you're engrossed in the story and the characters because you know those characters. A lot of Telltale games now too, they're based on like third-party licenses, right? They're licenses. So you're not gonna ever play a game like that in first person because you're not gonna see the licensed characters. It's not gonna happen. Right. With Tacoma and Edith Finch and something like Firewatch and Gone Home, these things they create atmosphere by throwing you into the middle of something, and you don't know what's going on, and it's on you to kind of unravel it. But you unraveling it by kind of you're habitating that space. Really, you're in it, and whether it's the music, whether it's the graphics, how you walk around the world, it's very engrossing. Just to compare it quickly to this past week I went to see Dunkirk, and I saw it in 70mm IMAX Dolby Atmos surround.
Premium experience talk. Sorry.
Premium experience. And I make the comparison. Yeah, I make the comparison because what Dunkirk does that a lot of war movies don't do, it doesn't rely, like if you look at a Saving Private Ryan, or if you look at Apocalypse Now or something like that. Those have very like huge booming orchestral kind of scores and stuff like that, and and huge set pieces. Now Dunkirk has those same huge set pieces, but what they do with music and sound is that it's not, you don't have this big orchestral score. What you have is like silences coupled with like kind of unnerving sound effects. Like there's like the movie, there's like a ticking clock always in the background. You hear going tick, 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 and you know something bad's gonna happen. Or like when you see all these soldiers on a beach and these the German bombers come down, they look up in the sky, everything goes silent. You don't see anything except the soldier looking up in the sky. And as the bombers get closer and closer to bombing them on the beach, then you start hearing this like screaming wail of the bombers right before they drop the bombs on you. And what that does is it serves to kind of engulf you in the experience more, right? Rather than you listening to like this you know, John Williams score in the background or whatnot. It puts you in there. And I think that's what these games do so well, is that they allow you to inhabit this world. They're fantastic to me. And they're great palate cleansers. Like if you're playing Far Cry 3 and then you want to go to jump something else that's a little more slower paced, these games are perfect for that.
Absolutely. Lord King, Lord Attic, what do you guys feel about these?
Well, what I've been hearing, you know, from it, because I saw my timeline blowing up with this Edith Finch. I'm like, what the hell is this? Right? And then I'm like, I saw it on YouTube, and I said, okay, oh God, let me see where this game is at. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh boy, it looks like it's a preview program type of thing.
Oh damn!
Right? So then. But because of Tacoma, right? I was like, I said, oh no, it's a full release, it's a real game. You know, I check it, it's a full release, it's a real game. Oh, it's a real boy. All right, so not no Pinocchio crap. Like you gotta build the game. So I said, okay. These guys have been saying good things about it, but I was still apprehensive about it. So now that you gave me basically the walkthrough of it, you know, without the spoilers, I love Telltales for that whole thing Lord Cognito was saying, like, if you don't agree with this and you want to drink the poison, go to page 17. So that was my joint. And the Telltales, like I say, Wolf Among Us is probably their best thing to me.
That's on my list next this week. That's on my list next.
And I haven't got to Batman. I'm gonna get to Batman. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get to Batman. But Batman. Yeah, it looked fantastic. It was a different take on Batman. I want to give this game a shot because what you're saying is in that vein, but not as structured and restrictive as the Telltale games. Because regardless of what, you know, you can choose whatever you want in Telltale games. Like Lord Sovereign said, is ultimately getting to the same thing.
Yeah. No, you're right.
You're not really walking around the world and embracing in the world and feeling things. You go from one set panel to the next. You can touch a couple of things here and there, and then it progresses the story. So it's a little bit more freedom from what I'm hearing. Lord Sovereign is what you're saying. You get more freedom in this.
Yes, just walking around the world. Yeah, definitely.
Is it like that stupid preview program game Long Night?
Nah, Long Dark is different because that's more like hardcore survival. You just gotta survive the night, watch your body temperature. That's actually more in the line of a game. Whereas this is more like I don't want to spoil it, but it's just twisted, dude. Like
it's a narrative-driven experience. So it is linear, but it allows you to walk around the world. And again, like the feeling you get from the world is your own because you walk around, you observe the house, you can go into rooms, like and there's clues about what happened in that place just by you looking around.
If anyone wants to know where the genesis of my hate for the preview program started, Long Dark. Or whatever the crap.
Easy. I'm playing Long Dark this week. I know those guys.
That's it. Yeah, you know, and I played it when it was 2 stick figures in a box.
Let's put it this way, okay. It's nothing you're gonna be missing. You're good on that. Don't worry about that. Lord Attic, what do you feel about it? I know you. Oh, sorry. You got something else to say? I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna go to Lord Addict because I want to know why there's such disdain there.
Especially when he plays all of the Telltale games. Lord Addict, are you there?
I'll pass.
Oh, you can't pass. You're not passing. No. You're not.
You're a Telltale. You play these games
Because it's like if you have a point of reference and say I played them and they suck, and at least I want to know why they suck.
Yeah,
I looked at it. It didn't look like something I'd be interested in. Same reason Firewatch.
Mm-hmm. So like Edith Finch and Firewatch, you were like, not for you.
I played Firewatch and it just didn't get me.
Okay.
But my brother loves it for some reason.
I love Firewatch actually too. It's funny you said
Firewatch is good, but it's probably not the best example. Have you played Going Home? Going Home is probably one of the better examples of this type of game, and a game that kind of subverts what you expect it to be, and it's not that. I think Gone Home is like perfect.
I will say this to your point was off, and as far as like affecting outcome, what I do need to see from Telltale is that I need, like you said, like, and Lord King mentioned this as well, like, and even Lord Ag, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna, whoever haven't played The Walking Dead season 1 and season 2 at this point, come on, y'all. So I'm gonna do a mini spoiler, but basically, I want a situation where those choices truly change the entire narrative of the sequel, right? So that in a sense that you'd have to build up 2 different games based on, you know, who survived and who didn't, as opposed to like a little cameo by somebody here and that's it. Go ahead, Lord.
I want some more scenarios like Life is Strange in there where you choose what you choose. You know, I can't say they've never had it because I feel like, you know, people tell me that, you know, because I still haven't finished Game of Thrones, but I've been told the choices in Game of Thrones are real.
They're rough. There's no doubt. But like, again, I'm going to spoil something. I'm sorry to the chat. If you guys haven't, I just played Walking Dead New Frontier, right? When you played the last Walking Dead season 2 with Clementine, there was a major choice at the end, right? Based on that major choice, you had to pick who out of somebody you was rocking with for a long time and somebody new survived, because those 2 were about to kill each other, right? The choice you made then ended with you with that person who survived. When Walking Dead New Frontier comes out, I'm like, there's nothing of that. Like it's complete.
It's the same thing from season 1 to season 2. Like literally irrelevance the entire past game. It
made all of that irrelevant. And then I actually watched a what's play, because I guess I had some issue importing my save over or whatever. So I'm like, all right, if I imported my save, what would have happened with that surviving character? And literally, Lord Addict, it was a 10-minute flashback scene of the person who with you and who survived, and then you get no context on what happens to them moving forward. And I was like, really, Telltale? Like after you did all that, you know? So it's just they've got to fix that, because to me, then what do the choices really mean, right?
Yeah,
doing this emotional investment, and they're not carrying forward, and they're not making a whole new game like that. They got to do better than that.
But then that would facilitate them making 2 games on 1 disc, or you know, because let's say one guy picked this guy and you pick that guy. When you're buying the game, both scenarios are supposed to be on that disc for the guy to pick this guy, the guy to pick that guy.
Mass Effect did it.
You know who they need to talk to about making decisions, about dialogue decisions? BioWare, because when you make the wrong decision in Dragon Age, like your own people will turn on you.
Yeah, like I need that real official cause and effect.
I remember I remember in the first Dragon Age where they were talking, and I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying. I was, but at the same time, I wasn't really justifying what might happen. And then I said the wrong thing, and homegirl on my team was like, I ain't down with that. And it's like that part of me that's like, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
Well, she showed me what she was gonna do. I had to kill her.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, because she said the same thing to me.
I feel you.
But I think as long as they keep making as many games as they are, they're not gonna do anything. I mean, we've been hearing forever, like the the engine is janky, it's choppy, and they haven't really done anything to rectify that. As long as they keep making all these games, for them to get better and to improve the formula, they need to scale down a little bit, and I don't see them doing it. I don't see.
So shout out to Edith Finch though for at least doing it different, a different take on it. And definitely freaking me out. There's some parts that are hilarious, though. Oh my lord, some are hilarious. Some people, you don't mean to laugh at death, but some people caught it bad in that game, and I laughed. I was like, "This is funny." I don't care. You stupid for that, but I would definitely advise the Lord to check that one out.
Especially some Telltale games, man. Some people annoy me so much. I'm like, I got to get this dude killed. Like, he got to go.
You got to go.
You make certain decisions just so that they die,
and then some of them never die. Like, it's like. What am I doing if I can't even get someone killed?
They done that though. Let's move this thing on. And Lord Addict, I'm gonna pass this to you. I know a big point of contention has been the Switch and that online service. So
I was wanting to ask you guys. Obviously they have the $20 price tag, 20 or 25. It doesn't really matter at this point. And they got the whack app service, the app service where you can only talk to the people in the game chat, but not the enemy game chat. The app service where you can't host a party. The app service where if someone calls you, you kicked out of the app. The app service where you can't sit. If you leave the game, you get kicked out of the app. I wanted, and I want to hear your guys' perspective if $25 might be too much. Would you guys pay $25 for this because they are blocking multiplayer with this. Multiplayer will be blocked with it. You have to have this to play anything online.
Well, as of now, right? Yeah, as of right now, according to what Lord Addict is saying with the fine print, multiplayer is free for now, right? But until when the service officially goes live, according to the fine print, Lord Addict showed it to me, and I was actually surprised that I believe multiplayer is behind that wall. So I guess when that goes live, it gets taken away from anyone who doesn't have the service. So I thought this was a good topic that he brought up. I'm curious for Lord King's statement on this because, for me, it's like, look, when that app debuted, we know damn well I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not. As far as I'm concerned, they don't have an online voice chat option. That
they got it. They got an app for game chat.
I'm never going to forget our conversations. I told him. I'm never going to forget it because he has so much hope in his heart, and I told him they're not doing that. No, it's a headphone jack at the top. I'm buying the headphone. I said, save your money when it comes out. Do not buy the head jack. Now it's there. It's because it's there.
You know, I'm trying to sell that headset too, right? I'm trying to get rid of that. I got it in the box.
Oh, you box. Still got? You really brought
it? Took it out the box. I still have it.
I'm done. You really brought it.
Oh, what we need? I was all in.
Done.
So with the whole situation, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have a voice chat option. So now it just comes down to, okay, this is part of the multiplayer service. If that is the case, and this is part of the multiplayer service, and if they take that away, I think they'll have a huge uproar. I think there's no way they can do that.
It's going away. They don't care about what you say.
If they do that, I think, like I said, it would be a huge mistake because that means right now, people who are playing Mario Kart, right? That means when it goes live, you can't go online to play Mario Kart.
Well, you know what they all buy it. They on Don Matrix style.
That's good. You ain't
in, get out or lay down, Nintendo style.
to me, we got a system for you. It's called the Wii U.
That's it. Get out or lay down.
Let me give you the game, the blueprint on how they save themselves. Even if they're stuck with the whack party chat, to me, what they have to do is say, okay, one, if this is we're gonna pay this $20.
Let's be real here. They're not stuck with the app though. Let's not act like they're not incapable of doing it at all.
Right? No, but at the same time, they better add some type of messaging service between people on the friends list. That's number one. Number two, they gotta add some type of achievement system, something some type of trophy. Let's me and that Lord I told you about. Call it coins, call it medals, whatever you want to call it, because that's another thing that they don't have with their service. Like there's a lot of people, shout out to Lord, Kid Smooth, and a lot of people that achievements is a big deal. There's people who want to play the game and get that recognition, you know what I'm saying, for doing whatever these accomplishments they do, and they don't have that. So my thing is, if you're going to pay $20 and you already got this archaic system, you need to add a couple more features to said system if you're forcing people to do that voice chat. But that's just me. But Lord King, I know you want to jump in.
Okay. Now, let's scale it back, guys. Step away from the cliff. It's this Nintendo. They thought we thought they were.
I feel like there's only so long you can just keep saying it's Nintendo. It's like, come on, Nintendo, stop being Nintendo.
Well, Lord Addict, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Longevity with Nintendo is a little shorter than mine. Okay. I've been with these guys from the Genesis. They are not going to perform.
How is
with
online
anything.
Features have anything to do with what they were doing?
This is what I'm going to tell you. This is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you how. Their philosophy from the beginning is the same philosophy that they have right now. They don't care what you think. They have a plan set in motion, and they're going to put it this way. I have absolutely zero confidence in them. Zero. I know for a fact that they're going to charge you $25. You're not going to see the benefit. I know that for a fact. I had Nintendo Power. No benefit. Ever. Okay? You got your Power Rewards and you can get this. I got that. You know how many Power Rewards I had and I never got that glove? Shout out to the Lord Jeff. Listen, Lord Mr. High. Trust me when I'm telling you this. They are the king of the bamboozle. But they bamboozle you open arm. They showing you. Yo, $25 for this. If you don't pay by this date, you cut off from playing with your friends.
That's insane.
And you're saying,
insane, Lord King.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Watch that day when you can't log on to play with your friends. Get your $25 up and get back to the party.
And if they have the cutoff date, right? All right, fine. But Lord King, here's the thing. The negative backlash. They are a walking joke right now. Like I've never seen all the major media outlets say what a Nintendo. It's not just bloggers and us and podcasters and media creators. These are the media saying, what the hell are you doing? So the only hope I have is that here's the hope I have. Remember when they first announced the online service soft and they said that the virtual console game is going to be, you're going to have it for the month. And then when the month ends,
discount.
It's going to go, you're going to get it at a discount rate. And people are like, whoa. Why are you doing that? Games with gold.
I was surprised they changed that.
Right. They let you keep the game. And then even said, PSN, PS Plus, they let you keep the game. Now, once it came out closer to launch, then they changed that and said, oh, no, we're going to give you the thing. And now you keep it. So all I'm hoping is.
Did it launch yet?
It didn't launch yet, but they did change their thing. They changed that policy. Okay. They already
listen,
due to negative reaction.
They said that he changed the policy, but they didn't launch it. Right?
No, but they changed it. They've already changed the policy already as it is before it even came out.
Okay. This is how I feel about these guys. Until it's in the wild, can't trust them. Can't trust the word that they're saying. Now, everybody's been pissed off that Nintendo hasn't done a show at E3 in so long. They have taken their joint to a point where they are this overbearing parent that knows the best for their child no matter what. We are the children, okay? They don't care what we say. You're not eating that unless you eat your vegetables. $25 up, and you can go outside with your friends. You're not going outside with your friends unless you got your $25. Listen, I haven't played my Switch in I don't know how long, and I probably won't play it until Rabbids show up, and then I probably won't play it for a couple of months until Mario show up. I don't care. I don't care about that $25. They're never getting it from me, ever.
But the question is, what could they do to get that $35 from you?
Redo their whole entire infrastructure on online.
Thank you. Give it off to NVIDIA. Let's become a third party to your own system and let NVIDIA run it.
What's up?
That ain't happening just because, like you said, Nintendo's Nintendo. They are never ever gonna be Me Too. Never. They'll never do it to their even if it's to their detriment, which it is. They're never gonna be Me Too. Why do you think you have this big ass stupid Splatoon? Because they're not gonna do what Xbox is doing. They're not gonna do what PlayStation is doing. They're like, no, we have to go left. No matter where left takes us, we have to go left. We have to go left.
Everything is left with these guys, man.
No, they're not.
They're that overbearing parent that knows what's best for you.
They are that. And again, it's in a way, it's a hubris thing. It's a hubris thing in a way because it's like we're always different. We're always different, and then we put ourselves in a position where we're different, but we're coming out last now. So then people have all these expectations about how we're supposed to follow suit with what Xbox and PlayStation is doing, and they're like, no matter what, it's not happening. That's why I firmly believe you're never gonna see any sort of achievements on Nintendo. Because I'm like, no, they have that.
Let's solve it.
Yeah.
You think they just going left just cause?
Just cause. Just cause.
The problem with just
I still stand.
That they're emboldened because of the success they have.
I still stand behind my just sell an Xbox Live card with every Switch.
How about all right, what about this, y'all? What about they just make the deal with Discord or Skype and allow the app to be on the system?
They're not doing that. Not Skype. Skype is
the
on by
only
Microsoft.
thing that could save their
Skype
online infrastructure is if they handed that shit to Microsoft, like, make it for us. That's legitimately the only thing that's going to save that thing.
And the thing is that it is a little weird because again they showed that they're willing to open up more now. They've done it with Ubisoft. They've done it with putting their games onto mobile.
I do have a question for you guys. Do you think it's not necessarily like, me and Lord Cognito are talking about this? I don't even think it's that they don't want to do it. I just think that they don't have the talent and they're too proud and too Armstrong
to stick their arm out and act for somebody. Yeah,
I actually disagree. I think it's something that Lord King said 2 ILPs ago. I think it's these old execs in there that got to go. Well, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, there's dudes in there that think they know more for you, and then I think whoever's that young dude that took over, that's because if you look at it, like, a lot of the stuff they're doing, you're like, wow.
Cutting edge.
Yeah, they're cutting it. They're allowing third-party engines to be tested on the Switch. So for easy portability, we're opening up to Nintendo to
Lord Cognito. Look, Cognito. This is like you buying a Ferrari, but you can only do 55 miles an hour.
Exactly. Why I gotta buy my grandpa's Ferrari? Why I can't have a new hotness? Why can't I?
The thing that doesn't make sense.
They gave you the new hotness, but you can't go past 55.
Honestly, true, Soft. I really feel it's an internal regime power struggle.
Kill the old people.
I think like, no, this is for the kids, and we don't want anybody talking to strangers, and we're going to let you talk party chat to party chat. There's no logical reason for them to have the system and as confusing and convoluted the way it is. It's like they're purposely making it difficult so that people don't talk to each other.
All they would have to do to make that app thing work is take the Xbox One app, copy that to the T, put a party system in it, and they got something people would pay $25 for. Yeah. And like I bet, like what I want the Switch to do is actually update its UI to where, let's say, Lord King David gets on. I'm like, oh, cool, man. I touch it on my screen because that's what it looks like you can do, but no, you can't do that. So I touch it on the screen. His profile pops up. I say invite to party. It sends a ping to my phone, and my phone starts a party and sends it sends him an invite to the party. That is, they have to make the app background though. It has to be able to be played in the background. I don't know why they thought it was a bright idea to make this app close for everything. Like it's selfish priority over everything.
It's selfish.
And let's be honest, it's just right now it's just a Splatoon app. Let's call it what it is, right? We can't use this. If I want to do Mario Kart, right? Can we use this?
Watch them make an app for every game.
Oh my God! Lord, I don't say that.
It's useless.
Do not say get me mad, Lord.
It's like, oh, you want to play Mario Kart? I don't have the app downloaded, man.
Oh God! Don't say.
One thing we haven't addressed, and Nintendo will never say it, and will never say this, but in terms of the hardware, maybe it's developed in such a way that they can't do it. Because the thing about it is this: when you look at the regular UI on the Switch, right? You don't ever see two applications open at the same time, right? You open one, and if you want to open another one,
you're right.
You have to close the
other one. You're right. It could be a multitasking UI thing. Shout out to Lord Anchorman in chat. He said Nintendo's in a power struggle between Calvin and Jim Ryan. I'm done. But you've lost out. That's good. You are right though. They may not be able to multitask with that UI.
Yo, Salver. Lord Salver.
Yeah.
I cracked the code.
I don't think they have the talent to come up with software.
I don't think it's a talent. I think it's a system.
Well, I mean that leads into the
to the talent, to the UI.
The talent to make it around that. Nintendo seems like the kind of company to me, the way they've been acting the past 10 years, where if they don't have the talent to do it, they ain't asking for help. This is just what you get.
This is what it is.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say on this, right? Yeah, Nintendo, this is lending towards Lord Sovereign's credence with these guys is that they always want to go left. My opinion is they always gonna go left. They're always gonna do their own thing. I've noticed this forever, but they could have got the NVIDIA Shield from NVIDIA. It wasn't selling. Stick two controllers on the side. It would have been bigger and more powerful. Boom. No, they had to go to NVIDIA. Listen, we want a special Tegra. Oh, well, give us the old Tegra, and we want it this way. We want it hamstrung in a manner that is going to hurt this way. And we're going to, instead of just taking it and just putting your face on it and just having it run. Listen, they would have been in such a great position. But no, they went over there to get NVIDIA involved. Now, we got all hype about NVIDIA is down with these guys, and it's going down. And let me give you another thing. Remember, y'all kept saying that, because they let Ubisoft run off with Mario, right?
Mario, right.
They did that before. They did that with the first Super Mario RPG. They gave it to Square Enix, and Square Enix produced the game. All right? So it's not like this is the first time they're doing it. They've done it before with Mario himself. Mario has been in various places. Nintendo is still controlling the narrative, and they're controlling how we play, when we play, and why we play.
Right.
When people start voting with their dollars and showing them,
I'm voting with mine. They're not getting that money for that online service.
I don't even think
they're not getting it.
I don't even think out of every company in the world, I think Nintendo is the only company voting for your wallet. Probably ain't gonna do nothing.
I know, right?
Listen,
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm not buying that service. I don't know about y'all.
They're gonna be like, the sales are down. Well, clearly they like where we're going. Let's do some more of it.
I could care less about the online connectivity, but if they come through with those older games, whatever the Game Pass thing they're doing, if that is official,
but Lord, I'm worried about that now. Because these minis are killing these streets.
There's
not coming.
No incentive for them to give that to us now.
It's not coming.
Maybe year 3. Right. I mean, with the NES Mini, the Super NES, now the 64 is coming.
When they make the Wii U Mini,
I'm done.
After the Wii U Mini, then you're gonna get
what they're gonna do.
The virtual game system.
I think after the GameCube Mini, they're gonna go back to the NES Mini and they're gonna give different games.
I'm done with 2. If they do that, and that comes to fruition, I'm looking at my Mini right now. And the sad part about it is so much fun.
Real quick, y'all, we got a couple of 2 more times to wrap this thing up before we move. First, let's get it over to actually Addict again, because Destiny 2 actually dropped out some PC information.
I can't wait.
So, I want to get this little Addict. What's going on with Destiny 2 and this PC possible restrictions.
I mean, I feel like I'll let you explain this because I'm eating a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah. All right, we'll get you Jolly Rancher. But what we've seen is the weekly update came out. And basically Bungie put out a statement, and they were talking about PC balance, and they were talking about the PC gaming community and how they want to talk about basically controlling the whole hacking and people being able to manipulate the environment. So one thing they talked about was a lot of third-party applications, ones that put in that allow code to be injected into the game. And in their opinion, in the wrong hands, they said some applications they used will add code to the game client in the right hands that can enable some nice features like overlays, game capture, things like that. But they said in the wrong hands, this can be destructive to the world that they share. So then they offered a list of what is going to be acceptable and not acceptable in the PC beta. And I was actually surprised to see some of the stuff that was not allowed. Game capture mode, OBS, and XSplit was not supported. Don't quote me. I believe there was also some voice communication things like Discord and Mumble, that allow those notification and those overlays are not compatible with Destiny 2. Now, obviously, I'm not the biggest PC guy, but I know that these are huge features for the PC community that are now not going to be allowed in Destiny 2. So I wanted to bring this to the Lords. What do we feel about this and these restrictions? And Bungie's reason.
All I know is I can't wait for Destiny 2 to come out. Look on the internet for the world to burn.
Listen, yo, go ahead, Lord Sovereign.
This was always the caveat to bringing Destiny to the PC. This is why they put it on Battle.net, so they can control that. Because even dedicated servers get hacked, so you need to be really careful about what you allow to be used. And then the problem with this is a lot of other games have multiplayer components, whether it be just the PvP, some co-op PvE. Destiny, that is all it is. It is cooperative PvE or PvP. That is the game. If you allow this sort of stuff, these sort of applications to be able to be used on that game, the game within a week's time,
I have one quick question real quick.
It's going to be obliterated. I mean, really, and this is just the reality of how PC gaming works. I
have a quick question real quick. All right. What is Anchorman saying about PC being forced to play 30 frames?
No, he's joking. He's like, next on the docket.
Okay.
He said that they're going to
force the world's literally going to burn
to have 30 frames per second parity.
Well, the thing is, you won't be able to know what frames you're running at because you can't run that overlay.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Lord King's right. That's real. You can't put that overlay to see that benchmark, right?
You can't tell anything. They are putting a big masking agent on top of this game. You don't know if it's in 4K. You don't know anything. So they giving you the cap. They telling you right now, we are fitting to lie to you in your face. They tell you, oh no, you're a bunch of liars and cheats. We don't trust y'all, so you won't be able to walk in here with your arms. We'll be taking your arms away from you. Yo, listen. But on top of that, no matter what, it is still the highest pre-ordered PC game so far this year.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's because PC people don't believe in pre-ordering games.
I don't know. The numbers is dictating that it's gonna sell good.
Losov, you were saying something earlier before, or you were good?
Yeah, no, I mean that was it. I mean that's the reason you're gonna see this stuff, and they're gonna continue. And I guarantee you, as the game expands more, they add more expansions, more raids, more stuff. Trust me, it's gonna get even more stringent.
More restricted,
because the thing is, it has the ability to break the whole game, not an aspect of the game.
Right, because it's adding code. It's adding code, and they want to. You think it's more of a protection for Battle.net and the cheaters? I mean, I understand the logic behind it, because those things add code, but I was just concerned because I was just like, damn, so what are they supposed to do if you're blocking Discord? How are dudes chatting? Like that's my thing. Like to me, it became unattractive. Like
it became Nintendo.
Yeah.
that's the plus side to the walled garden of the console space. The walled garden of the console space ensures that sort of quote unquote security that you're going to be playing with a set group of people and it's controlled more. The PC is the Wild West. It always was the Wild West.
They Nintendo and the joint up.
But my question, Lord Addict, do you think the PC community will wow? Do you think like this?
I told you.
They're pretty vocal.
I'm waiting for October, whenever that game comes out in October, so I can look on the internet and see the world burn. Why you so think I'm joking? Or no, it's not gonna. Oh yes. There's going to be riots in the street. There might even be riots in front of their actual place. I mean, when it comes to PC people, man, they don't play. You bend the knee or you don't go anywhere.
Well, I can tell you this: that's going to happen a whole lot sooner than you think, sir. Because as soon as that demo is released, and these people, these hackers, these modders can't do anything to it.
Here's the thing, like. They're gonna see that and they're just gonna be like, "There's no way they're gonna release the game like that." And then when the actual game comes out and they actually put money behind it, and I don't even think Battle.net gives you refunds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this fine print, and it's like, please note, third-party applications which repeatedly attempt to insert code into the Destiny2 PC client will potentially impact game performance, and they're telling people to disable these features. And I'm just like, wow.
I mean, that means Shadow Play, OBS, all of these games.
Yeah, like so. Wait, so let me ask you this, because you're the OBS guy, Lord. So are they trying to say like you're not going to be able to game capture? Or
I think Battle.net has its own built-in game capture program.
OBS would allow you to game capture in windowed mode.
Right.
So it won't be full screen. It'll be windowed mode. And you can also game capture with hardware solutions like Elgato or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm reading that. It's saying, okay, if they want to capture, they got to use hardware capture through Elgato, Avera Media, or dedicated streaming PC.
This is one battle the PC community's not going to win, because Activision's just going to be like, look, like we going to make the money regardless if some of you don't pick it up.
True. There's only one place to play. It's going to be
when it comes to look how many games Activision actually launches on PC. They don't care. The PC community can say what they want. They'll be like, then it dies on PC. Consoles is going to sell more anyway.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting to bring to the table. I know, Lord Sub, you got one more before we wrap this thing up, and you wanted to talk about, I believe, Killing Floor 2, correct?
Oh yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, so there was a little bit of discussion around the announcement that Killing Floor 2 would be coming to the X1X with specific enhancements. But then there was sort of outcry that the enhancements don't seem as big as what people expected, and even more so, not a huge leap over what's already available right now on the PS4 Pro.
Right.
So on the PS4 Pro, Killing Floor 2 runs at 1800p checkerboarded, upscaled to 4K, and it runs at 60 frames per second. The developers of Killing Floor 2 indicated that when they were able to port the game to X1X fairly quickly, in about 4 hours, they said they ported it over, and that it runs at 1800p native at 60 frames per second. But when they tried to run it native 4K, the frame rate dropped considerably to the point where it was unplayable. Now, mind you, when they said this, it was, again, they hadn't put a lot of work into it. But the way they worded it, it seemed like they didn't intend on putting a lot of work into it. So basically, we're going to see the game at 1800p native, upscale, right? Your TV will upscale it to 4K, but it'll be running at 60 frames per second. So again, the big argument people have, okay, once again, it's showing that the X1X is hamstrung and that it's not able to do these huge leaps. And again, we're beating a dead dog with this. We've been talking about this over the course of weeks.
There seems to be a pattern we've been talking about.
There's a pattern. And I think what people are going to have to really recognize about this system is again, first party stuff, they're going to put the work into it to make sure that it looks fantastic and runs fantastic, and we'll see the biggest leaps in the first party stuff. And third party stuff is going to be up to the developer how much time they want to put into it. And if they don't put in a lot of time, they just do the basic port over. In all likelihood, we're not going to see huge jumps over what we see on opposing platforms. And that's just it. But that's the reality of it. So that's something I think we just need. There's a narrative we need to get used to. That's it.
Lord King, what do you feel about this Killing Floor 2 fiasco?
and Lord King knows we both been playing Killing Floor 2 on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
it looks fine. It runs fine.
It looks great. It looks great. You know what Microsoft's problem was when they sat there and they said 4K.
Uncompromised.
True 4K.
Yes.
True 4K.
Uncompromised true 4K. Shout out to Rick at Review Tech.
Shout out to
I sat there, I watched this whole thing on it. And these people are killing this system, man, and they ain't even out yet, bro. They are going in. The internet is savages.
I mean, that's what happens when you step your feet on PC.
Put your face out. Yep.
Yeah, when you stick your face out there, you say, yeah, we walking around with this 18-karat gold chain, this 10-karat today, be 18-karat tomorrow.
Your 500 machine is better than their $1,500 machine. You know, people don't like that.
But listen, man, they painted themselves in this corner, this 4K corner, and they're going to have to fight their way out of it. Now,
there's no fighting. They lost this battle.
We don't know yet till it's in our house. We have months to go. It's a reason why it didn't launch early. It's a reason for a lot of things. They can say FCC crap. They can say anything that they want. I know they want to put themselves in the best position that these games are running in 4K. I don't care if you get it checkerboard wise. I don't care how you do it. I don't care. To be honest with you, I'm really sick and tired of this whole 4K conversation. My thing was, all right, just have the option for 1080p 60. I don't care.
Which is what I feel gamers really want.
Yeah, I do that though.
I think if they do that, and it's a small thing, to be honest with you. It's a small thing. If it's not running, it is a hardware type of thing, whereas you just say boost mode, whatever. It boosts it to 1080p, 60 frames per second if your TV is not outputting at 4K, period. Every game. You do that, you control the narrative. You take it away from this 4K crap. Now, 1880p, great. You upscaled it to 4K, good. It's running in 30 frames per second, fantastic. Killing Floors is Twitch game. You turn to the left, you turn right, you forward, you shoot. I'm pretty sure that the people complaining about it, one, don't have a 4K television. Two, don't plan on buying Killing Floor 2 anyway. So it's just a lot of people talking crap, and they're probably not even buying an Xbox One X. When the system is out, fine. Let us see then. But they're killing this stuff, man. They're killing me every week.
I guess what's surprising to me, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember during the whole Xbox One X reveal when Digital Foundry had the exclusive? And they were talking about, you know, all the things it can do and how impressive. And then we went down to the Forza thing. I don't know, Sovereign, I don't see if you caught this or King caught it. There was a thing that Ledbetter did, and he started talking about how the Xbox One X supposedly had this ability to run like pseudo 60 frames per second. And it was kind of like, I forgot the technology. I try to find the source article, but basically it was something to the effect like if a game couldn't reach 60 frames, there was some type of tricks that they can do to achieve
get it up there.
Yeah. And I'm like,
he was,
jump in.
He was talking about games that had open frame rate.
Yes.
Or games that were developed like a Halo 5 with a variable frame rate. He said that anything that had a variable frame rate that got up to 60 frames, that was dynamic in terms of frame rate, would be able to be locked in at either a 30 or a 60, depending on whatever the high end was,
whatever the target frame rate was.
So basically, what I said is only for these games that had this open frame rate.
Most games don't have a dynamic frame rate; they have resolution.
Right.
Okay.
Or
That was something.
yeah,
Yeah.
or it was whatever game. Let's say in the code, it targeted this frame rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the bottlenecks that was inside the system, it couldn't achieve that frame rate, even if it wasn't a variable. If it had dips, you call it slowdown in certain places, those slowdowns and those dips will be eliminated for the sheer brute force of the system.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that again, but again, for older games, most older games weren't developed with that in mind.
Right.
If you look on a PS4 Pro now, Neo has that, where Neo offers you the two different. It gives you the boost, right, and it offers you the high frame rate, the high frame rate at 1080p, and it offers you the 1400p or the 1800p with the lower whatever with the 30 frames per second. Right. Now the thing is, but it allows you to choose which frames per second you want. So that means that at a base level, the game's frame rate is open, and you can just decide where to lock it. Oh, it actually also has another setting specifically for the frame rate that allows you to unlock it and run it that way rather than locking it at a steady 30 or 60. So you can decide if you're willing to deal with the dips and the rises by having it open. That's another option they can do moving forward. But again, older games are not going to have these options.
I guess, and I feel like multiplayer games definitely ain't going to have that option.
Right.
Gotcha. I guess what I'm struggling with, y'all, look, I got to bring it to Lord. This is what I'm struggling with. It's like, Lord Kaibatsu made a point in the chat, and he's like, the mantra from the Xbox One X is to let the developers have the power to upgrade the game to their benefits, take advantage of it. So it's just like, I'm struggling with this whole mindset of, the devs are not going in. You know what I'm saying? Like the
wild, uncontrolled, no rules, no restrictions.
It's the same game. They don't get any more money from it. They're going to give you the PlayStation Pro version. They're just going.
But then I understand where he's going with that. But then again, the mantra of the X is supposed to be it's so easy. It's almost like you flip the switch and the lights come on and you boost your stuff.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. If Killing Floor people made the game and they put it over and they said, "Oh, we ported over and they ported over at 1880 without no optimization." What do we need to do?
We're done.
We could just get paid off for this. Slap a tag on it and we out.
I'm kind of remiss. I'm remiss to call any developer lazy, man.
I feel you.
My feeling is this: Microsoft's fault for not being clear about this narrative. They don't want to say that because it comes off as negative, so they're never going to tell you, no, it can't do it, right? So it takes people like us sitting here talking about it, people on the internet kind of digging deep and coming up with this stuff for the narrative to become clear. So it's just going to continue to happen that way, and these articles are going to keep happening well into when the X gets released, because it's going to keep happening. But it is their fault, because if this is something that's across the board going to be happening, just say it and be clear about it.
Yeah,
just say it and be clear. The thing about it is that we have to, again, and they're talking about a lot of older games.
Out way too much to admit that now.
Uncompromised.
The problem is that it looks worse. It looks worse when it's
the most powerful console ever. Doing the same 1800 as PS4.
But it's not doing the same. Let's be clear.
Native 1800.
Because remember, the PlayStation joint was 1440 something native, and then they checkerboarded it
up to 18.
Yeah, and then from there, the TV and whatever else gave it that extra boost to try to get it to 4K. So instead of killing the Killing Floor, the PlayStation Pro, they like, but you promised. But what about your man over there though? But you promised though. Like, I'm sick and tired of it, man. These dudes over there doing work.
But to Lord Addict's point, they put their chest out for a year and a half, basically.
They are never gonna come out openly and say that we were wrong.
No. It's not even wrong. They purposely use marketing terms and stuff to mislead you. They're not going to tell you they weren't wrong.
Look what they did. Look what they did on Halo 5's marketing. They are very used to this. So
Yeah, but I was debating Switch because they try to make it seem like it was a lock
this is
versus
pretty much
whatever. But we gonna get into that another.
It's like we're gonna promise you true 4K, and then we're gonna switch up 2 or 3 months before it comes out. We'll see what the actual console does.
It'd be funny to see if the narrative, like in terms of advertising and marketing, changes as we get closer to the launch of the console. If they see that this stuff is really affecting them, because again, bad press is bad press. You don't want to hear that. And
Absolutely.
The thing is, again, you don't get out in front of it, you're going to put yourself in that position where it's going to keep happening. And the thing is, what we need to acknowledge as gamers is that everything that's been released on this gen, and in terms of Xbox, everything back compat 2, it's going to be beholden to the limitations of that system, of how the game was created on that system. If it was locked 30, you're getting locked 30. If it was for whatever reason an open-ended frame rate, you could get higher than 30 or whatever. It's just gonna depend.
No doubt. And on that note, we gotta wrap this thing up. It's a good show for the Lords today. We have to bring that church, that gaming realness to the people. So it's good. So just before we end this thing out, new poll is going to be this week. So I just wanted to say this is actually inspired by our very own Lord King. And the poll this week is going to be going up on the ILP Twitter. It's going to be, is the Xbox preview program bad for gaming?
I'm voting twice.
Are you on the side of early access and helping a smaller studio? Or do you feel it's unpaid gamer slave labor?
This is going to be the first poll that's drastically one way.
Yo, this is going to be the first poll you're going to have 5,000 people vote.
You're the only person I know that complains about that program.
Actually, shout out to my boy Lord Salt, the saltiest gamer. Check out his channel.
Yeah, that's my dude.
Iron Lords a lot. He put out a video just recently, kind of compounding what we talked about last week about Fortnite going in on Xbox preview program. So I don't know what it's gonna go, but I'm just saying there are some people who really agree with Lord King.
They're the minority.
Yeah, we're the minority because you don't agree with him. And anytime somebody don't agree with you, they're wrong.
The minority.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that's gonna be a contentious topic. We need the people's opinion. The Twitter will go up now. The Twitter vote will go up, and you guys got 2 days. You know what to do. So we're gonna do our little outros right quick. Lord,
please vote, guys.
Oh yeah, please vote. It's gonna be a good one. So Lord Addict, where can people find you, and tell us what's going on with the Gaming Addict channel?
Follow me on Twitter, YouTube, and all my gaming credential things.
But what are your gaming credential things?
I'm about to say it, man.
The people don't know.
I'm Room to Kill across all platforms, and I'm Gaming Addict on Steam.
Nice.
Me and Kid are about to launch a dual review format that we're going to be reviewing games as 2 people, not 1. So look out for that. It ain't not, and I've been streaming a lot more on Gaming Addict. So if you like Halo Wars 2 and random games, definitely follow that.
Nice.
And I've been meaning to do spotlights and stuff, but I kind of want to wait till after Gamescom to really, because I really want to do a Crackdown spotlight, but I gotta wait till after
Gamescom. Get me in on that one. Get me a part of that.
Because I feel like if I do one now, I'm just gonna have to do another one after Gamescom. So
yeah, I feel you. All right. And Lord Soft, where can the people find you?
Yeah, the people can find me on Xbox Live at BX Sovereign, PSN BX Sovereign, one word, and on Twitter, Lord Sovereign ILP, Lord Sov ILP. Nice. Quick shout out also to Big X Boss. Woo! This dude every Sunday, man, bright and early, man, he's ready to go.
He's here, man. He's in the chat lit. Outer Haven, Big Boss, though that we met him. Shout out to Big Boss because Lord Addict and I we met him at E3. We were on the Destiny 2 line. Lord Addict, probably forget it. He really good. God knows his gaming, knows his stuff, and he always reps that ILP brand. We bring in that church on Sundays. He's first online.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks to everybody in the chat too, man. You guys are great. You guys go ham in there.
I can't thank the people in the chat because Anchorman so happens to be one of the people in the chat.
Shout out to Lord. And Lord King, we can find you, sir.
You're gonna catch me at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, PlayStation, but you can catch me Thursday beating Kid Smooth in the NBA Live, baby. We're gonna be on that mixer.
Is it gonna be with the WNBA team? That's what the people want to know.
I want to know if he gonna live up to his words, because the brother sat there and said that he's gonna play me with a WNBA team. I'll spank you double time. Listen, if you beat me with a WNBA team, there go his spokesman again. Why is he speaking for this guy again? Who is this? If you
let me finish my statement, maybe you will understand what I'm
talking. With him, but go ahead.
I said if he plays with one, doesn't that mean you have to play with one?
No, he made that daggone bet. I would never say
Lord Alex may have a point though. Maybe the game might not allow.
Listen. If they do, then listen. Kid, I'll give you something. I'll throw you a bone, sir, since you put your head out there. I'll throw you a bone. If you play with a female NBA team, WNBA, and I play with an NBA team, if you beat me, I will buy you the game, even if you lose. I'll throw a challenge out there.
Is this so if even if you lose, you're gonna buy him the game. So, like, if you lose, he's buying you the game.
No, I said, no. I said, even if let's say
you say he loses. That's like, exactly
what
I'm
talking about. If he loses the bet, you understand? Because he's gonna lose the bet. I'm gonna destroy him. He's gonna get destroyed.
Got it.
But if he happens to beat me with that team, then fine. You know, he can get the game. Because right now it stands if he wins, lose, or whatever, all he doing is buying me the game. If he wins, he gets nothing. So if he wins and he beats me with a WNBA team, I'll buy him the game.
Then you buy the game. So basically you just right. Okay, I see what you're doing. Got it. Fair enough. It is a little incognito here. Of course, like I said, we spending that game and running on the ILP. We appreciate everybody showing up on Sunday for that church. You had to bring it real today this week. And again, please hit that like, subscribe to ILP on all the media outlets, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. All that really helps us, supports all the support of the Lord is much appreciated. We got some stuff cooking up. We can't talk about it too deep just yet, but we're going to be very surprised. I think for fans of the Lords and the Round Table, we're going to be very surprised and very excited. So we definitely got some more stuff to talk about. And anything else we want to close out with, Lord Addict, before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look out for some Hellblade impressions next week. We're going to be talking about Hellblade. I'm definitely going to go in on that this week.
They're going to be talking about Hellblade.
Lord King and I will be talking about Hellblade.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Hellblade. He know I'm buying it.
No doubt. And on that note, we are out of here. Peace.